Today we're going to be looking at Priscilla. She's got a nice, beautiful song here, but in the actual game, is she any good? And the answer to that is, well, it's complicated. So she's a 6 for 9, 6 power for 9 provisions, human, and she's an agent, but not Nilfgaard, so it doesn't really mean anything unless you're playing against Nilfgaard. And then she has Zeal Order, heal an allied unit by 4 and reset its cooldown. Healing is generally just not great. Usually the only time heal gets any value is you're playing against a deck with random damage or non-targeted damage, something like Reavers, something like Dwarves with the Berserkers, against Rain with Melusine, stuff like that where the damage isn't targeted. Otherwise, anytime something takes damage, it's usually dead. So, against like Skellige Raids, for example, if you're taking damage, your unit's probably dead. So you can't really heal it. So the heal usually doesn't have much value, and then the reset cooldown, though, is the interesting part. But speaking of that, Inspired is boost an allied unit by 4 and reset the cooldown instead. So the boost instead of heal is kind of nice. It gives you an extra, usually 3-ish value. The heal, I'd say you probably only get like 1 heal normally, maybe 2. Depends on your deck. You can't play self-wound, so you can't damage yourself like that. But the boost by 4 usually gives you a couple extra points, which is really nice. But the reset cooldown is really what you're going to be playing Priscilla for. So let's take a look at the cooldown cards real quick. We'll talk about how she is right now. So your cooldown cards, you have King Hensel. He gets points when your cooldowns decrease. This works really well with Priscilla because say you have something next to King's Hensel and you reset its cooldown, right? So say you have King Hensel here and you got something cooldown 6 next to it. We'll get to that. And you reset that 6, King Hensel will get 6 points, which is really good. It's a very expensive combo, but you can actually get a lot of points like that. And speaking of 6, War Elephant's the biggest cooldown, one of the biggest cooldowns in the game. There's a couple with bigger. But if you've got the crew, boost by 8. So if you use Priscilla on War Elephant, there's a couple things here. This will probably be a common thread. Is we're going to boost the War Elephant by 4 with Priscilla, just assuming we're doing the boost effect. We don't have to. We can just do the heal, which will get no value, probably. So what happens then is we use the War Elephant. So War Elephant's 8, we theoretically boost him to 16 with his ability, because you're definitely going to have crew. The only thing, although, to be fair, if you don't have crew and you damage something by 4, you could heal it with Priscilla, but then you're not targeting the elephant, so it's not great. So you have the elephant, it goes to 16, use Priscilla, it goes to 20, and then you use its ability again for 8 more points, which would go to 28. Now that's really big, and using Priscilla for extra 8 points on elephant would make her value go from 6 to 14 for 9. And if you add in the 4 points of boost here, she's getting 12 value on her ability, so 18 for 9 is actually really good. The problem with that is Elephant gets super, super tall, and it's already got the cooldown, so it might get bigger. That's just one option. You have Shani here. Shani's a really interesting one, because she's going to use her order. She'll order summon a human unit out. If you reset her, you get like 6 points, 7 points, depending. You're gonna use Shani's order the turn she comes out, and then use the because she's Zeal, so you can use her turn the order of the turn she comes out, and then next turn you Priscilla reset her, reduce it by 6, and get another bronze human. So that's another option. And then obviously you can always do on Rafard's Vengeance. That one's really good because if the opponent can't kill Rafard's Vengeance right away, so you inspired Zealed it, and they just hit it with something, you can boost it up with the Priscilla, then use this order again. That one's pretty good. Dandelions just cooldown's too small now. It's just cooldown 2 is not great. But other than that, you've got stuff like Vestas, doesn't really matter. War Chariots, like these are cooldown 3s, which isn't too great. Anything less, all the 3s and 1s and such, are not really great targets for Priscilla. So really what you want to be using her on is pretty much just Vengeance, Shani, and Elephant. And there's a couple issues. Elephant gets really, really tall, so that might be a problem. And then you have Shani. So Shani's actually a pretty good one to target, but usually she gets killed right away because people don't want you resetting her or winching her or stuff. So if you can use her on Shani, it's actually pretty good, because she also will boost the Shani up by 4 points with her Inspired effect, which really helps. That's not bad. And Rafard's Vengeance isn't bad either. Okay, for example, let's take a look at Rafard's Vengeance. If you use Winch Rafard's Vengeance, and then it cooldowns 1, that's 4 turns. So Winch is really good for this. Winch is good on this. Winch is just so good already for the cooldown reduction that Priscilla just kind of seems redundant a lot of the time. Before we get too far into this, there's one thing I want to mention, and that is the neutral cards. So, you have Elphabald here, which we made a video about. His cooldown 3 you can reset with Priscilla, because I don't think she's limited to Northern Realms. I should double check on that real quick. Yeah, she's not limited to Northern Realms. So you could use her on Eltibald. Didn't mention that in the Eltibald video, but it's worth mentioning now. It's not great, because it just resets it once, and it reduces it by 2, but you could use it to boost the Eltibald a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's just not an ideal usage. And then we have Colossal Ifrit's got his ability is good, but it's a cooldown 3. 3 is kind of in that range where it'll come back, but if you're using Priscilla, it just reduces it by 2, which is not, it doesn't seem great compared to the other ones. And then we all got the cooldown 1 effects. So really, Eltibald's the one here I wanted to mention. So Priscilla's got a problem where she just doesn't have good targets for her ability. Like Elephant's really the best one, assuming you're not going to hit by tall removal. If you are, Shani is also very good, and as far as Vengeance. The problem is, where are you running Priscilla in these decks? Like, what type of decks are these? Right? Does she fit well in them? Now, if you're playing a Siege deck with War Elephant, you're going to be playing Rafar's Vengeance and Elephant, so it's actually not too bad there. You can make use of her there. It's just, she doesn't... It's hard to find a place to fit Priscilla in a deck. She works well if you can click on War Elephant, or these 3, right? She works well on these 3, in my opinion. Those are the 3 you want to be targeting with her. But what deck are you really running her in with them? And that's kind of the issue. I'm honestly not too sure. I think... If you look at Priscilla, she's just missing a good target for her, right? Like, it used to be you could use her repeatedly on Dandelion. Well, Dandelion got his ability changed too, right? So they both got changed. But they don't actually work well together anymore, which I honestly just don't really like. I kind of wish these guys had more synergy. So, yeah, I wish these guys had more synergy. I don't know what to do with Priscilla, really. There's a couple changes you could do to her. I guess we'll talk about that now. Is you could make her order have a cooldown on it, for example. So she could use this multiple times. And then she could reset something like Dandelion. Or maybe she has maybe you, instead of doing the full reset on her Zeal order, you just make it reduced by 2. And then she gets it every turn, or reduced by 1. But yeah, I wish she had I just wish she had synergy with Dandelion. Dandelion's orders a 2, so resetting him's not great. I don't know. There's a couple options here. You could make her have the cooldown so she can use her ability more often. Then change the reset cooldown to a certain number of turns. Or you could just have her have an extra effect, like if you have Dandelion, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe Dandelion has, if you have Priscilla, this is cooldown 1. I don't know. Let me know what you would think. I usually try and put in like some ideas for how I change these here. But for Priscilla, I'm really not sure what we do. She does have she has targets on these 3, but they're not amazing. Well, they're actually really good if you can hit them with her, but the deck with her doesn't really seem like it fits together, is kind of what I'm getting at. But you guys let me know if you've tried her out. Would you actually change her? I think her issue is just that there's not great targets, and everyone remembered her being played with Dandelion, so maybe we just want to do that again, and we should move on, but I kind of wish they had synergy. Yeah, I really wish these 2 had synergies. I would actually, if these 2 would get changed, I'd want to see them synergy between Priscilla and Dandelion. If we add another target here, maybe there's a bronze with a really long cooldown effect they add to the game. Something you'd want to winch, for example. Then she'd have good value there. That would probably help her the most, honestly, is if there's like a 6 provision bronze that has a good order effect with a long cooldown. That would help Priscilla the most. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I think that would help her the most, because you have another target. Maybe it's even a human, so Shani can revive it. And then you can just click Priscilla, reset the bronze's long cooldown if you have nothing else, and boost it. Otherwise, you can reset the Shani or one of these guys in that deck. I think that would be the most interesting way to have Priscilla get some attention, is to add synergy with Dandelion, and then add a long cooldown bronze that she could actually synergize with. But anyway, let me know what you want to see next, and tell me what you think about Priscilla, and we'll see you in the next one. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.